Thanks for tuning in to Sports TV Plus. I'm Gerald Bentley. This is Spotlight on KC Sports. We're coming to you on TCL Plus TV, on True TV Plus, on Sports.tv, Carbon TV, and for all of our friends watching on cable in the Baltimore, Maryland area, on Watchy as well. Gerald Bentley here. I'm joined by Kramer Sansone from Audacy Kansas City. You can follow his work. He does the social media for 96.5 The Fan. That is the flagship station for your Kansas City Chiefs. And Kramer, thanks for stepping in. Yeah, it's time to put the hammer down, baby.
Yeah, I love Mitch Holtz. But Gerald, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Hey, we were at the Fountain City Pro event this past Friday. We got to see Fuego del Sol and the Black Diamond, Luke Langley, taking on each other. Camaro Jackson, your FCP champion, going up against Sam Stackhouse. Camaro getting the power bomb on the 450-pound Sam Stackhouse, and then hilarious to get the 1-2-3 to send the crowd home happy. But you know, we've known each other in the pro wrestling world, but I wanted to get you on to talk a little sports. And there's always stories in Kansas City, and the Chiefs have been making some stories. Free agency is rolling on now, and they've been a little bit more active than I thought they would be. What about you?
They have been active, but I don't know if it's the right piece at the right time. Granted, you had to orchestrate. The Brett Veach has to manipulate the cap structure. And you know what? They figured it out. But so far, I think they've done enough. I would say not the best in around the AFC West, but they at least done enough to stay afloat and still become that contender for this upcoming season. Because, I mean, remember, the Chiefs are right is at the top of the bar. I don't care if the Eagles won it. It happened. But still, the next team you got is obviously the Chiefs. They're always knocking on that door no matter what.
No, they're right there. And heck, NFL.com just put out a power ranking updated through free agency, and they have the Chiefs sitting at number 2 to the Eagles. The Eagles have actually lost more than the Chiefs have so far.
It's true.
I guess, yeah, still the biggest question with the Chiefs, it's a broken record. It goes back to the beginning of last season. Offensive line. Do you think they've got it fixed enough?
I wouldn't say so. I'm still truly shocked they ended up doing the franchise tag with Trey Smith. I thought that $23 million deal to keep him on there for just one season for just a guard. I didn't like it so much, but who else do they have? They traded away Joe Thuney. Now you're stuck with Jawan Taylor, who is a revolving door out at right tackle. Left tackle still in question. I'm not sure if the guy from the 49ers that they signed is going to be I wouldn't say like the answer. I do think they're going to still have to find something in the draft this upcoming year. But so far with only Creed and Trey, then you have Caliendo maybe at left guard. Still, it doesn't look great, but knowing Creed there and Trey Smith there, you at least got something there for him.
Well, in the spirit of our sister channel, Pro Wrestling, I'm going to hook up for the bloodline. I think Kingsley Suamataia will be, you got to acknowledge him. I think he's going to be the left guard. The Chiefs have been happy to tell anybody who will listen that Kingsley's looked great in training sessions towards the end of the season. Now, I'm not sure how great he looked because they put Caliendo out there, but
true.
They're feeling pretty good with Kingsley, and you know, guard's easier than tackle, so I guess it really just came down to they picked young and getting a draft pick over older and walking on Trey Smith, because they could have kept Thuney, but then they were going to have to let Smith go, and you trade Thuney, you get a draft pick back, save a little bit of money. Now they just have to convert and sign some sort of long-term deal with Trey Smith, so they don't have to drag that franchise tag with them all year.
Right. I honestly, I'd hope to see that deal get done here soon, but I'm shocked. They tagged him. They still had him be able to explore options elsewhere. Nothing's gotten done, so I'm more led to believe that, okay, a deal will be happening. But even if they were to walk away from him, they could have been on the sweepstakes for Laramie Tunsil. I mean, I was shocked when he got traded to the Washington Commanders. And if they would have traded away Thuney, not re-signed Trey Smith, they would have had enough money to get a left tackle in Laramie Tunsil. So I trust Brett Veach. Heck, you can listen to me on the Veach season with my guy Rocky over on I'm a Club Foolish. We love Brett Veach.
Yeah.
Whatever he does, we're Brett Veach truthers. We will drink his Kool-Aid no matter what, and I have all the much faith in the world for Brett Veach in figuring this thing out.
Well, a big risk by Brett Veach because Jalen Moore is going to be your left tackle, barring some, just horrendous injury. He's the guy. $30 million, 2-year contract, really 1 year, and they can bail after a year, but probably 2 years. He's your guy. It's going to be his 5th year in the NFL. He's played in 55 games total, started 12, backing up, quite possibly the best left tackle, maybe the best left tackle ever. I'm sure Willie Roaf would disagree with that, but Trent Williams out in San Francisco. He's going against the trend because most of your premier left tackles are first or at worst second-round picks. He was a 5th-round pick out of Western Michigan, out of the MAC. But you got to feel pretty good that he has the physical tools to do it. And he played well with the Niners. Do you think maybe we'll see a little bit of a shift in offensive philosophies, that maybe the beatdown that we took against the Eagles? I've talked with lots of coaches over the years, going back to when I did play-by-play in college and covered the NBA. And Larry Brown, former KU coach, and coached all over the place. He told me during an interview when he was coaching in the NBA that the harsh light of reality that shines bright in a loss really kind of clarifies, and it makes you make adjustments. Well, that's about as harsh a light as the Chiefs are going to have shined on them. That was one of the most lopsided losses in the Mahomes era. Is that loss enough to make them say, okay, hey, wait a minute. Maybe part of the problem is we're leaving the left tackle out on an island and we're dropping back, straight back in shotgun. We got 5 receivers out on every pattern. We don't keep a running back in. We don't keep a tight end in. And we just let this guy out here and he's got to do it. Is it enough to change it and move a little bit more towards the Shanahan or McVay philosophy with some more rollouts, some more play action, get under the center? Do you think we see any of that?
So that was the mindset when people thought when Clyde Edwards-Helaire was drafted at the 32nd overall pick a handful of years ago, and everyone was comparing him to Brian Westbrook. That never showed. We didn't see Andy Reid go to the passing down running back, the hand and off. It's a passing league in Andy Reid's mind, and he knows that Patrick Mahomes can get that done. Now at the left tackle, bringing Moore in, he's got a 70 grade run blocking. He also has a 70 grade pass blocking as well. So I think we might see the Chiefs run the football. I think they should run the football. We've seen a shift in the NFL now where running backs are doing what they've been doing. It looks like early 2000s to late 2010s we saw was running back heavy. Then 2010s to 2020 was passing quarterbacks. Now they want to start seeing the running backs happen. I do think the Chiefs will go out there and get a running back. I wouldn't say Isaiah Pacheco is going to be the best option for them right now. Elijah Mitchell, he's banged up all the time. He'd probably be your second guy there. But bringing him on in to help also run block might be actually huge, because we already know Creed Humphrey has enough oomph to get the run block going. Same with Trey Smith. And also whoever else is going to be on that line. I honestly might want to see Juwan Taylor do a run blocking thing to him pass blocking. I just don't want to see him pass block anymore. So they might shift it more.
Run block.
Oh, I'd hope so.
Yeah.
The only thing with him is he's kind of slow. But if he's not in that left tackle spot, he's not going back. Just move that big boy forward, and they should be fine.
Well, I'd love to see them draft Travion Henderson out of Ohio State or somebody like that.
Or
I think
Judkins.
Available 2nd, 3rd round. Yeah, either of the Buckeyes running backs.
I've also seen a lot of Devin Neal lately, and of course KU guy, Kansas City. Like that would be, I think, a perfect fit because he can actually find a hole compared to some of the guys we've seen as running back for the Chiefs.
Because I think it's fairly safe to say this is the end of the Isaiah Pacheco era in Kansas City. I don't think he doesn't get a second contract because running backs, and like you said, a couple of years ago, running backs were being devalued. Even Saquon Barkley wasn't getting a good contract.
Yeah, no.
But last year, I think we saw the effects of everybody playing two deep shells all the time, and teams saying, "Oh well, hey, running backs don't matter." Well, the teams that had running backs, they did pretty well. It made a difference. And
For
even the
sure.
Chiefs leaned heavily on Kareem Hunt. I mean, Kareem Hunt's not available. The Chiefs don't end up the season where they did. He was a huge factor in that team.
Absolutely agree with you on that. Absolutely agree, because Kareem Hunt, he carried the workload, especially the mid parts of the season. He got them to where they were. Granted, he didn't do enough in the playoffs, but a lot of people didn't do enough in the playoffs when it came to the Super Bowl. So it wasn't just one guy during that time.
Now, are you okay with the wide receiver moves? Justin Watson gone. He's going to be a Houston Texan now. Xavier Worthy even got out of trouble quickly. He looks like he's going to be okay. Rashee Rice, we still have to see what kind of suspension comes. Maybe not as much as we think, because there's been enough time passing, and he does have a really good lawyer. He's got Jerry Jones' lawyer, so maybe some stuff gets swept under a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Hollywood Brown back. Do you like the Hollywood Brown signing? He's coming back with the potential to make $11 million.
I do enjoy that signing, because we didn't really see him at all last year. We just saw him in one preseason game. We saw him in week 17 or week 18, then a handful of games in the playoffs. I thought he played terrible in the playoffs. So it's like, I want to see a Hollywood Brown that we know we can possibly see. And him being healthy for a full season, let's go. But if you had the 1, 2, 3 with Rashee, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy, what more do you need? Everybody is like, everyone's fast. Everyone's going to catch it. Everyone's going to do great. That's just what you want.
Well, and they'll be able to spread the ball downfield, so that'll give Juju some more space to kind of jog into the center and camp out in the zone.
He's such a sneaky wide receiver. Back. He's a sneaky wide receiver. Like, I love it. Thanks. Plus, also on run blocking too. And I know something. Well, that's a nice
Juju,
Funko.
right there.
Love it. Sick. I enjoyed the Juju deal. It's just a nice complimentary piece. He knows the offense. He trusts Andy Reid, and Andy Reid trusts him. So I love it.
And he doesn't need much money, because he got the bag from New England.
Exactly.
Bonus, so we get him on the cheap. And then Nico Remigio is going to be back. He'll be your kick returner. McCall Hardman signed today with Green Bay, so no more McCall Hardman. Maybe.
Good for McCall.
He signed with the Jets before and came back.
And same season too.
Yeah, it was a quick turn, but I think he'll stay with the Packers, because they'll probably just use him as a kick returner.
Most likely.
Really now I think the Chiefs may sign a couple more guys. You'll see him make some small pickups. I could see Mike Pennell re-signing. Maybe a reunion with Willie Gay Jr. He's out there, but you're gonna get backups and role players signed right now. The draft is the next big thing, and we're about a month away from the draft. What are you feeling the Chiefs are going to do in the draft?
It's weird, because I feel like my mindset has shifted from drafting an offensive lineman, trying to figure out a way to get up to at least the pick 18 with Seattle. Hopefully you can get up there. But now my mindset is switching to where I don't think it's actually going to happen. I think they go with a defensive guy. They might go with best available. Honestly, best available at 31 might be the best thing, because this is a defensive heavy draft, and you can also find those good defensive guys in later rounds, such as the 3rd or the 4th, or you can even find them on day 3. Like, this is a loaded defensive draft.
Well, and I think that's something that, going back to trusting in Brett Veach, something that he's really made a point of doing in his tenure. The Chiefs do fill the glaring holes that they may have, usually in free agency. So then when they go to the draft, they actually can just take the best player and not have to make a panic pick. I don't even know if Kingsley was really a panic pick. I think they honestly believe they were in good shape with Wanye and Kingsley. Figure, hey, one of these guys, they'll be good enough. The rest of the league, the rest of the line's great. They can hold these guys up. So I think they were kind of shocked last year. And this year they're in a better place. That's why they went ahead and threw the money at Jalen Moore to make sure they had it locked down.
I also think with the Chiefs' success, it's kind of like hurting them for trying to get the best available tackle to help 15. Because even when they drafted Kingsley, it still wasn't a very good left tackle class last year. It was just not, there was not many people unless you're in the top 5 picks of the draft.
Yeah,
kind of like the same with this one. Yeah, because you can't get Mimbo this year. You can't get Kelvin Banks Jr. It's just not possible. You can't get Will Campbell. It's just not going to be able to be feasible for them to get up there. But you might have to do another prototype type of left tackle and mold him to where you want to be. They tried that with Kingsley and it just didn't work out. So if he turns out to be the best guard in the league, let's go. We already seen it with Mekhi Becton, who was moved from right tackle to right guard, and it worked out perfectly for him. Now he's in the Super Bowl champion. Now he's in Los Angeles. So it's like it can work for some of these guys. Granted, we're going to the year 2 for Kingsley. I'm not going to put him up on that pedestal just yet, but it's everybody's a working project right now, no matter where they draft on that line.
Well, definitely pulling for him. Now, speaking of works in progress, the KU Jayhawks are a work in progress this year, and their time may be running out. They are going to be kicking off their NCAA tournament run, going up against Bill Self's former coaching mate. They were both assistants on Larry Brown's staff at KU, John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Disappointing year for both of these Hall of Fame coaches. Arkansas, a 10 seed, coming out of what is arguably the best single season by a conference in NCAA history in the SEC. One of the 14 schools to make it to the tournament. Going up against the Jayhawks, quite possibly the worst year of the Bill Self era. How do you feel about this game? I'm not thinking the Jayhawks are going to do much.
I don't think the Jayhawks are going to do much. I think it's weird with this team. Whenever they do get on a roll, the other team calls timeout, and boom, they're back ice cold again. It just and then the lid goes on the basket, and they're done for. I think Arkansas gets the job done and move it in advance. But see, it could be it's March Madness. Anything can happen. The Cinderella team could be Arkansas. The Cinderella team could be KU. Who knows? It's gonna be fun when they tip off on. Is it Thursday? I believe.
It is. It's Thursday night game.
Around the same time around Mizzou.
Half hour before Missouri kicks off against Drake. The analytics have KU winning 71% of the time to 29% for Arkansas. Arkansas, 3 of their last 5 are W's. Kansas, 2 of their last 5 are W's. Very even teams. Arkansas 20-13 coming in. KU 21-12. I don't know. I mean, I may have a biased view from watching these last few KU games, but man, the back half of the season's just been brutal.
It's been a tough
starting
watch.
Off with the loss to Missouri.
It's been tough. It really has been.
What do you think it is? Do you think it's just the change in basketball where now every year everybody's an unrestricted free agent, and the recruiting advantages and being able to build up players like a Christian Braun, like an Ochai Agbaji, that's kind of been negated. So that secret weapon that Bill Self had just isn't quite there as much.
But I also would argue that you would think that more and more kids would want to go play for a KU just for that reason. That's a one of the destinations college basketball programs that you actually want to go to. You know what you're going to get out of. How many in a row that they've won conference wise before a couple of years ago? It was 18, 17. It was a insane. Lot in a row. And now we're getting to the NIL. You would think they would bring in more. It's not Bill Self's coaching philosophy. It's just I think the hit and miss. You have Hunter Dickinson that's just clogging up this entire team that is a 7th-year senior, I think. Hell, I was watching him in Michigan. I'm a Michigan guy. Love Michigan, watch Michigan every single game. So it's like I don't know if it's because the scheme they have them all in. It's just nothing falls for them and nothing goes their way.
And all the outside shooters that they brought in, AJ Storr, DJ Coit, Tiggy Coit, Zeke Mayo, none of them have really clicked in. Zeke Mayo's been the best, but he's been erratic. And then
inconsistent.
Some teams, they really highlight the shortfalls offensively of KJ Adams and DeJuan, and they just basically lock in triangle and 2 on Hunter Dickinson and Zeke Mayo and say, hey, you guys beat us. And yeah, it makes for some horrible games to watch. So hopefully for KU fans, it's either a pleasant surprise or a quick ending.
Oh
Because
yeah, that's what you
it
want. You
is
want
a hard game to watch. Yeah. Time to load up for next year, unfortunately. And I think they will. They do have the number 2 recruit in the country coming. So, it'll be okay. If this is the worst year you have, it's not too bad. Missouri, on the other hand, for the SEC last year and this year, turn it around. They're 6.5-point favorites against everybody's underdog darling, Drake, the Bulldogs, at 30-3. They play about the slowest brand of basketball in the country. They give the least possessions to their opponent in the country, taking on Missouri, who wants to get up and down and run the court. Missouri, according to the analytics, favored 73% of the time to 27 for Drake. And, again, I kind of feel the same way. I know what the analytics say. I know they say it should be a win. I know they're favorites, but Missouri coming in reeling. One of their last 5, including the SEC tournament. That one win, a relatively close win against Mississippi State. Drake, 5-0. I could see both Missouri and Kansas going down here. These are tough draws for a 6 and a 7 seed.
So I had the pleasure to broadcast up at Northwest Missouri State University, where Coach McCollum, who's the head coach now at Drake, I've able to witness all of the national title runs they've had. I like to point this out here, a stat that not many people know, but Coach McCollum's undefeated in March. So that's huge. And what month are we in right now? It's March right now.
Yeah.
I think with his brand of basketball, I've watched it. It works. I thought when I was a junior in college, I thought he was going to go to a Division I school after the season that they won. So I think this guy highly. He knows how to coach basketball. His brand of basketball works. It's proven. And if he just slows down the tempo to any team, he's going to put a stranglehold on you. And he has the shooters that can knock down the shots. There's always going to be a guy open in the corner or the wing. It always happens, and it's always there. And he also doesn't have the guys that he puts on his team. They're not scared to attack the basket on either offense or defense. They're up in your face, up in your grill the entire time. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I have Drake winning it, but it's going to be close.
Well, that style, it makes the games close. Missouri guard Caleb Grill, in their press conference, I thought he made a really good point that when you get into games like this, you hit a 3, it feels like it's worth 5. Because Drake's going to take the air out of the ball. If you haven't watched him play, it's a lot like watching the old Ivy League schools when the Ivy League would make their run in the tournament, and they're going to pass the ball around. They're going to wait till the last second to take a shot. And when they take a shot, it's usually going to be an open 3 or it's going to be a backdoor layup. And you better be locked in. To make our second wrestling reference of the night, it's excellence of execution, a la Bret Hart. They're going to drag it down and they're going to execute their plan. And as we've seen in a good conference, it worked this year. They're 30-3. I agree with you. I think Drake wins, and Missouri, still a good year, an amazing turnaround, because I think a lot of people thought that Dennis Gates needed to be gone, and you couldn't run him back out here again after last year. And I think Missouri made the right decision, keeping him on the fold and giving him a run back, because college basketball now, you can turn everything in a year.
Very true. Very true. I can't wait. I can't wait till tip off. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, and we got a couple weeks. And even if the local teams aren't in there for the stretch run, it's still a great event. It's one of the best sports events of the year.
Everybody's still going to watch it, no matter what.
Yeah. Man, if you're in Las Vegas this weekend, this is the weekend to be in Las Vegas with all these games, hanging out at the sports book, go to Circa. You can watch all of them. Man,
I wish I was there.
So do I, but not yet. Not for a month. Going up there for WrestleMania.
That's awesome.
We do have the beautiful game going on in Kansas City already. It is soccer season in KC, and it's been a rough start for Sporting Kansas City. Peter Vermees talked about how this is a rebuilding team, that it's going to take a while to get everything settled in. They've made a few moves, but they got 2 more transfer windows. They're going to make more moves. It was looking really, really bad in the snow at Children's Mercy Park. I got the graphic up there behind me. They broke out the orange ball, and by the time they broke the orange ball out, Sporting was down 2-0. Went in for halftime and responded by giving up a goal within the first minute to go down 3-0. But as people are saying, oh my God, what's going to happen? Are they going to lose 10 games in a row again this year? How do they stop this? What do they do to turn it around? They actually turned it around. For the first time in Sporting Kansas City history, they came back from a 3-0 deficit to get a decision. They got a draw 3-3. And I had a chance to talk with new starting goalkeeper. He's been with Sporting for a while in the academy, and he was Tim Millia's backup for a couple of years. John Pulskamp now ascended to being keeper one. Talked with John about building the chemistry with the team and if it's going to start coming together now. First time in Sporting history that come back from 3-0 to get a decision. Yeah, which I wasn't aware of that.
It's nice, awesome.
How much does that help? Because I think the teams outplayed the results so far. I imagine you guys feel that.
Agreed.
Is it good to get a result knowing you got so much turnover?
Yeah.
Just to give you guys a little bit of a boost as you're going into training, getting ready for a homestand?
Yeah. This result, I think, should propel us forward so far. I think all of us hit a point in this game where it really just we were all triggered in the sense of we're getting a result this game, we're getting points this game, and the fact that we pulled it off should definitely motivate everyone and give a bit of a momentum to everyone and hopefully carries on into next week and start putting some wins together.
And just one more.
Yeah, of course.
Peter mentioned it, that this was the first time since the beginning of training camp you had 4 training sessions in 1 week.
Yeah. No, have not turned
How much more, I'll take it for it, how much more do you get in building chemistry from training than game to game? That's
what it is. I mean, look, I think people sometimes think training is working on maybe like technical things, but we're all technically great players. In training, the whole purpose of training, the real purpose of training is to tactically get on the same page, to build the chemistry. You can get 11 great players together, but if they don't have the training to get on the same page tactically, they aren't going to play well no matter who the 11 guys are. And vice versa. If you have 11 guys, though, that get into training and get consistent time, getting on the same page tactically, that's where the results really will start to come. So I think, we just need a bit more time together. Like you said, I never want to say it's an excuse, but it is a factor. Yeah. Exactly. It's just the reality of the situation is that we haven't had consistent build-ups into games. We haven't had the time to really work on these sort of things on the field and in the classroom. So hopefully going forward now we'll have a more consistent build-up into going into games.
Awesome. I got to give them some credit too, because they have had a crazy start to the season, starting off with those CONCACAF aggregate games against Miami, including the one with the negative 17-degree weather here in KC. And that game happened just 2 days after new striker Dejan arrived, a couple of days after your new attacking midfielder Manu Garcia arrived, and Shafi Suleimanov arrived, I think, the day before the game. So you're throwing all those pieces in and kind of scrambling them around. It's honestly kind of amazing they haven't been getting beaten down by more, because it's such a precise game. You have to know where everybody's going to be, and they track pass completion percentages. Well, if you're not familiar with where somebody's going to be on the pitch, you're not going to complete a pass. but it was like a light switch. They just turned it on in the second half.
It's good for sporting. They just need to, whenever every single sports team in the city is on one, it's just good vibes. So Sporting Kansas City, if they can find it from here on out, it's going to be, the cauldron is going to be lit. It's going to be on fire. And you know what? It's going to be packed, jam-packed. The crazies will be out there. And they're going to use that momentum.
Yeah, even with the snow coming down, as soon as they got that first goal, as soon as Daniel Shallowy came in and punched the goal in, which Dejan said, and it's an opportune moment for somebody from Red Bull to be listening, asked about the impact that Daniel Shallowy made coming in off the bench. Dejan said, he gave us wings. If a Red Bull rep was listening, he said, oh man, let's go, sponsor time. But they take on LAFC this week. It's a home game at Children's Mercy Park. And you know what? It's super early in the season. It's a long MLS season. They're 0-1-3. You get a win, you're right there, because only one team in the league has more than 2 wins at this point. That's Vancouver. Everybody else is 2 wins or less. So it's definitely game on. It's anybody's ball game for Sporting Kansas City. On the other side of the state line at CPKC Stadium, we saw the Kansas City Current kick off the season for the 3rd year in a row against the Portland Thorn, and they beat them 3-1. Michelle Cooper with an amazing goal from, use a basketball reference, beyond the top of the key, outside of the 18-yard box, bashed it in. One of the best goals of the week. Man, they're just rolling. I think for them, it's really, barring a ton of injuries, it's a clear path to the championship again.
Yeah, it was disappointing they didn't make it all the way through when we were hosting it this past year. But man, on Snake Saturday, I was down there off Armour at Cinderblock Brewery. They had the game on, because that's one of the current locations to watch games. What was it, like within like the first 5 minutes of the game, we've already started scoring. Everybody in the bar was going crazy. Yeah. I was going crazy. It was fun. It was good. I'm glad they were able to get that first home win of the season out of the way. And let's get many more of those to come. Come on, let's go.
And a pretty amazing end to the game too, as you had the on-field proposal for Ellie Wheeler. So a great day all around for the Kansas City Current. And hey, just as we're wrapping it up here, we're on Sports TV Plus, Spotlight on Kansas City Sports. Gerald Bentley here, joined by Kramer Sansone from Audacy Kansas City. Does a lot of work with 96.5 The Fan, and the voice of Fountain City Pro. I've heard you referred to as the Michael Cole of Kansas City.
Oh, if that's the case, man, that's very, very high honors. I don't know if I don't know if I can actually. I don't know if I want to accept that award just yet. But man, putting Kramer Santa and Michael Cole next to each other, that has a sign of a good ring to it. It does.
Yeah, it's a good ring. Yeah. The other team, are you excited about the Royals? Because the Royals will be coming back soon, less than a week, just a little bit over a week from the Royals making their return to Kauffman Stadium. Do you feel another playoff run? Do you think they can do it 2 years in a row?
That if you can see, it all relies upon the starting pitching. If you can get to Seth Lugo, Michael Waka, and also Cole Reagans, the big three that they have, if they can be nails the entire season, get those wins, get those 6 innings of pitch, get those quality starts under their belt, I think the sky's the limit for the Kansas City Royals. I do see them. I think they can win this division. Who they got to go up against? Minnesota. People think that they're always the best, even though they didn't finish the best in the division last year. It was the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
I think the Royals are the better team here. I think they're well put together. The addition of Jonathan India to this team, now a true leadoff bat and a nice, great second baseman or third baseman. He's going to do whatever you want for the team. And he doesn't strike out. That's what a lot of people did last year.
It's on base.
And it seemed like all last season, once Vinny Pasquantino was hurt with his wrist injury down in Houston, it just went downhill after that. And with the healthy Vinny returning, Salvador Perez's bat still in the lineup. I mean, I haven't even mentioned the guy's name yet. The soon-to-be MVP, the 2025 MVP of this upcoming season,
right.
Bobby Witt Jr. Still on the team.
Jr.
I can't wait for the Royal season to start. And opening day, the 27th, cannot come quick enough.
Now, what I like, just drilling in now, a lot of the talk has been about Jack Caglione, who did get sent down to minor league camp, so he will not be breaking with the team from spring training, but we may see him later in the year. Jonathan India, like you highlighted, he has an OPS in spring training of 1,106, an on-base percentage of 477. If he just gets to a 370 on-base percentage, 350 during the season, he may lead the league in runs scored. Getting on base ahead of Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny, and Salvador. Because last year we had the worst statistical leadoff hitter in baseball, one of the worst leadoff hitters in baseball history, averaging everybody together. That's going to be an enormous difference in just that one acquisition. And if you have a healthy Michael Massey, you're going to see a big jump in the offense too.
That, and we already know how non-selfish these guys are. Like Vinny Pasquantino, he prides himself on being the sac fly king. And if Jonathan India is over at third base with one out, you already know all Vinny's going to try to do is pop it up deep and get him on in because they just want to make sure the runs come across. This team is, I think it's well put together now. I know they're missing a corner outfield bat, but if they can somehow find a way to get one, to acquire one mid-season, maybe there's a guy out there right now that maybe he wants to bring his asking price a little bit lower. Then be like, okay, yeah, now come to the Royals. They do need a corner bat. It's because Hunter Renfroe, he's a big question mark this year. MJ Melendez, another big question mark this year. And Kyle Isbell in center field, I still think he's a big question mark too. Those guys don't scream, run-producing machines. Yeah. They just don't. So if you got the boys need to stay healthy. Come on, Vinny, you got to stay healthy. Salvi, stay healthy. Yeah. Bobby, do what you do, and Jonathan is going to do his thing.
The top four and Michael Massey, they need to get it done because, you're dragging a defense-first bat with you with Kyle Isbell. And, maybe you get a little bit more out of Miguel Garcia. That would be a nice addition, too.
And Renfro's bat in the spring right now has been really good. So hopefully that does transition to non-AAA, AA pitching. Hopefully it does transition to MLB caliber pitchers.
Well, when Hunter's hot, he can roll. It's just he's not hot all that often.
This dude used to be a 30 home run machine.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he can do it. And I'm pulling for Hunter Renfroe and MJ Melendez. They are both very, very nice guys, good guys to talk to. You can tell they work hard, but man, we just need the results. MJ just needs to get a little bit better. He doesn't have to be the guy who led the minors in home runs.
Which is crazy because what happened to that guy?
25. That's it.
Like he disappeared.
The
yeah, okay, you're right. That's also why. That's why Jack Caglione is in the minor league camp right now because of the curveball situation. But once they figure out the curveball, it's like Joe Boo. He needs to drink some of Joe Boo's rum from Major League and see if that can work.
Yes, absolutely. MJ Melendez seems like an old Cleveland player almost from my days covering the Cleveland Indians back on WHK, the voice of the fan in Cleveland. Well, hey, one more question, and then we'll move it over to our champion of the week. Do we hear an announcement by the All-Star break for where the Royals will be playing in the future? Or do you think it drags through this whole season?
That's a tough one because I think right now John Sherman wants to get the deal done. He wants to get things into place. Let's start moving this thing downtown. But once the season starts fully, I think they're going to be laissez-faire on this thing. It's kind of like what they did last year when they were trying to get the thing done. They had the big vote yes campaign that I thought the Chiefs still didn't do enough to give their fair share of saying, hey, let's make sure this thing votes yes. Yeah, no, they didn't. I don't think the Royals are going to do anything during this. It'd be nice to, but kind of like what we've seen out down south of Tampa Bay, they've already pulled back things like, hey, yeah, we're not going to be foregoing this plan. That's the perfect time to do it because they weren't going to do that mid-season. They just wouldn't. Now we're getting close to the start of opening day. John Sherman might as well do something soon. But if it's not anything before opening day, I think it's going to be after the season.
I think it will be the end of the season, and I'm feeling pretty confident in saying Kansas City, Kansas, welcome your major league franchise, because it's going to be hard to beat free. It's going to be a matter of which team jumps for the free money first, the Chiefs or the Royals. And then I think you'll see Missouri hit the panic button and go, oh, okay, hey, let's get something done.
Well,
Because
I also
right now
noticed,
we're in this kind of waiting period.
I noticed with how Jefferson City was trying to get all this thing done, they're more worried about St. Louis. They want to make sure they're happy the entire time. No one gives what back here over in Kansas City. We're not the gateway of the West, but we have Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City Royals, both in the playoffs. When was the last time St. Louis Cardinals were in the playoffs? I don't know. When was the last time St. Louis Blues were in the playoffs? Don't know. Like, literally, the most relevant teams are here right now.
Team?
Keep them here. Yeah. The Battlehawks we're talking about, or the Rams?
The Battlehawks, they kick off next week. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I just think at some point, I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving for sports talk. We talked about it all last season. Yeah. At some point, one of these two franchises is going to say, well, wait a minute, hang on. There's a shopping center already developed. All the highways merge there. There's a casino with an ESPN Bet ESPN Sportsbook. And there's all the parking in the world and free right there. Somebody's going to say yes. It's just going to be a matter of which team says yes first. I think it'll be the Chiefs, because I do believe the Royals really do want to be in downtown Kansas City or North Kansas City. But they need Missouri, Clay County, Jackson County, whoever, to step up and at least make it a little bit closer deal, because right now you're going against free. And a free stadium is pretty hard to beat.
I liked both locations that the Royals wanted, whether it was the North Kansas City one or the one that's more downtown based. Baseball is meant to be downtown. Like I'll argue with anybody apart that, because go to St. Louis, it's fun downtown. You know how beautiful PNC Park looks across the seeing that skyline there. You don't see any skyline except the burnt down Denny's out and the Taco Bell out there in the outfields. That's all you see.
Empty Adams Mark.
There's probably also an empty hotel that's probably abandoned, some apartments too as well. It's just not a good area, and the Royals aren't staying there. They just won't, and I do believe
no, they're not staying there. No. The future of the Truman Sports Complex is in the past.
Yeah, but you can thank Frank Clark for
which
that.
Team jumps first? Yeah, no, he's definitely had his foot on the scale, which is weird. I tried to ask him about
Frank Clark,
it
Frank
last
White,
year.
my bad.
Frank White, yeah. I tried to ask him about it last year at an event for the Monarchs, and he kind of ran away from me and Channel 9 as we were trying to.
Of course.
Him. But he wasn't too happy to talk about it. So it's a weird event, but I think we'll have to wait through the whole season. I think we'll hear something finally definitive before next NFL season kicks off. It's going to be a long time. Well, hey, let's go, and we'll go ahead and award our champion of the week here. Let's let Lily La Pescadilla introduce it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lily La Pescadita from Northland Pro Wrestling, your Northland Pro Wrestling Women's Champ. And you can see me on Wrestling Spotlight.
You can see her in the NWA as well. We got the Wrestling Spotlight TV Championship belt. Kramer, honorary champion this week. Who is your champion of the week in Kansas City sports?
Oh, in Kansas City sports, man, let's just let's give it back to Juju Smith-Schuster, coming back to this Kansas City Chiefs, trying to go for another Super Bowl title win. He's I would say, behind Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, might be one of the heart and souls of this team. You know what? Love it. Glad he's back in Kansas City. Let's see what he does, and let's see what they can do this upcoming season.
I like that. And Kareem Hunt back as well.
It's true.
He gets a chance to maybe capture his first Super Bowl with the Chiefs if they can get back there. I'm going to go with the Royals, the guy we mentioned earlier, because he has the potential to be the champion of the city if the season continues anywhere close to what spring training's been. Jonathan India, your new leadoff hitter, traded Brady Singer straight up for him, and I think that move's going to look really good for J.J. Picola, because I'm confident in saying we will not have a historically bad leadoff hitter this year, and that's going to make Bobby Witt Jr.'s numbers even better. Well, with that, we'll wrap it up here for Spotlight on Kansas City Sports. You can see us throughout the week on Sports TV Plus on all of your TCL TVs. Just hit the plus button on True TV Plus, on Sports TV, on Carbon TV, and on Watchy. So beaming out across the country with all of the current goings on in Kansas City sports. And Kramer, where can people catch up with you throughout the week if they want to follow in on a little bit of Kansas City sports and Fountain City Pro Wrestling?
Yeah, you can follow me on X at Kramer Talks. But if you want to listen to me, if you're in Kansas City, you want to listen to me daily in the mornings, Cody and Zeke in the morning, our country station on 106.5 The Wolf, formerly the home of the Kansas City Chiefs. You can hear me there. You can see me on socials all the time. And yeah, I'm the Madden simulation guy on Arrowhead Pride. So feel free, roast me on that. I'm always up for it. So yeah, no, I'm anywhere and everywhere, but at Kramer Talks on X is the best way to get a hold of me and see all my stuff.
There you go. Awesome. And stay tuned here to Sports TV Plus to catch more on Kansas City sports. We have the KC Soccer Report coming up, and also Spotlight on the NBA, Spotlight on the NCAA, and then Spotlight on the NFL as Alex Campbell and I break down free agency. We'll see you back here, Spotlight in Kansas City next week. Have a great night.